The body is sending signals. Muscle tissue tearing, bones fracturing under stress, blood loss lowering the core temperature. I feel it all. Every ruptured capillary and every crushed nerve ending. People call this pain. They treat it like a warning, a command to stop. I don't see it that way anymore. A warning implies I have a choice to turn back. I don't. So the pain is no longer a deterrent. It is simply data. It tells me exactly what is broken and exactly how much cursed energy I need to force those broken pieces to keep moving. There was a time when this much agony would have made me scream. I would have dropped to my knees. I would have cried out for the people I couldn't save, let the grief hollow out my chest, and asked why. But screaming is a waste of oxygen. Crying clouds the vision. Emotion is an inefficiency I can no longer afford. Every nightmare, every friend who bled out on the concrete, every failure, they didn't break me. They burned away my hesitation. What remains isn't a boy playing hero. It's a mechanism. Pain is not a tragedy. It is raw, unrefined fuel. You just have to know how to swallow it. Watch my hands. They aren't shaking from fear. The tremors are just the containment of kinetic force, waiting for the precise millisecond to be discharged. The enemy expects me to shatter. They apply pressure, expecting the glass to splinter. But I am not glass. I am a furnace. Throw everything you have into me. The grief, the curses, the unbearable, suffocating agony of standing in this hell. Shove it all down my throat. It won't break me. It combusts. It is instantly converted into the velocity required to close the distance. It is weaponized into the black sparks needed to shatter their skulls. I don't feel sorry for myself. I don't feel rage. Rage is erratic. Rage makes mistakes. I feel nothing but absolute, 0-degree focus. Every scar is just a ledger. Every fractured rib is a calculated expense. The worse it gets, the narrower and clearer my vision becomes. They thought they could torture me into submission. They forgot that to forge a weapon, you must subject the steel to localized, extreme violence. All they've done is hammer out the impurities. So let the blood flow. Let the muscles tear. I will consume the pain. I will digest the trauma. I will convert every ounce of suffering into forward motion. I am a cog, and the only thing this pain does is make the gears turn faster. You look at me and wait for a spark. You are waiting for the moment my eyes widen, for the scream that signals a second wind, for the righteous fury to take over. You are waiting for motivation. That is your first mistake. Motivation is a biological trick. It is a fragile, temporary chemical reaction for people who still believe they have a choice in whether they move or stand still. I ran out of that a long time ago. There is no fire left in my chest. There is no grand, overwhelming desire to save the world, or to prove a point, or to validate my own existence. All of that burned away to ash, and the ash was scattered by the wind. What is left is something entirely different. It is mechanics. It is geometry. It is the cold, indisputable law of forward motion. The human mind is a pathetic thing. It breaks. It shatters into 1,000 jagged pieces the moment the reality of this world crushes its naive expectations. I have felt my mind snap. I have stood in the wreckage of my own soul, completely hollowed out, listening to the silence that follows absolute despair. And do you know what I learned in that absolute silence? The body does not need an intact soul to operate. Tendons still pull, bones still bear weight, lungs still draw breath. The brain screams that the damage is terminal, that it is time to lie down and let the earth reclaim us. I hear that scream. I register it as background noise, categorize it as irrelevant data, and I take the next step. I do not wait for the will to fight to return. I do not stand in the blood and the dirt, waiting for a reason to justify the pain. Waiting is a luxury of the living, and I have stopped living as a human being with hopes and dreams. I am a cog. I am a mechanism designed for a single, unyielding purpose. The gears must turn. Every step forward is a calculation. Threat proximity, trajectory, impact force. Emotions are a mathematical error. Grief is a rounding mistake. Fear is a variable that slows down the processing speed. So, I cut them out. I sever the connection between what I feel and what I do. You think it requires strength to keep going when you are mentally destroyed? It doesn't. It requires emptiness. It requires the absolute surrender of your ego. When you stop caring if you are broken, the concept of stopping simply ceases to exist. Look at me. I am not running toward a victory. I am not chasing a bright dawn. I am simply closing the distance. My legs will move until they are severed. My fists will swing until the bones are dust. The motion is non-negotiable. The objective is absolute. I will keep going, no matter what is in front of me. No matter what is missing inside me, I will just keep walking forward. Look at your hands. They are trembling. You are gasping for air, waiting for the grief to subside, for the terror to pass. You think there is a horizon line where the weight will lift, where you will finally be allowed to feel human again. You are lying to yourself. That moment does not exist. The sooner you kill that hope, the sooner you become useful. Pain, you let it anchor you to the dirt. A shattered bone, a pierced lung, the scent of your own burning flesh. You register these things as tragedies. I register them as biological data. The flesh tears, the blood spills, and the nervous system sends a frantic signal screaming that the body is failing. Acknowledge the signal, then cut the wire. Pain is merely a physical suggestion that you should stop. I do not take suggestions. If my leg snaps, I drag it. If my jaw is crushed, I swallow the blood and breathe through my teeth. The objective remains absolute. The forward motion remains uninterrupted. Then comes the loss. You watch someone you swore to protect get torn apart in front of you. You drop to your knees. You scream to a sky that isn't listening. You waste precious oxygen mourning a vessel that is already empty. Do you think your tears put the blood back in their veins? Do you think your hesitation honors their sacrifice? It is an insult to the battlefield. When a body falls beside me, even if it wears a familiar face, it becomes nothing more than an obstacle to step over. Their memories do not power my fists. I am not fueled by righteous anger or a pathetic desire for vengeance. My strikes are driven purely by the cold, mechanical necessity of extermination. Loss happens. The world subtracts a life. I do not pause to calculate the deficit. I step on the corpse, and I keep fighting. And the fear, the primal, suffocating instinct telling you that the anomaly standing before you is superior. You let it freeze you. You let it dictate the rhythm of your heart. Fear is biological static. It is meaningless white noise. I hear it, and I walk directly through it. It does not alter my trajectory by a single millimeter. The enemy bears its fangs. Reality distorts. Death manifests its physical form in front of me, and I step into its open jaws without a single fluctuation in my pulse. Fear is a luxury for those who still believe they have a future to lose. I have systematically hollowed myself out. I have burned away the boy who cared. There is nothing left inside for the terror to grip. You call this suffering. I call it mechanics. I am no longer a human playing hero. I am a cog in a massive, indifferent machine built for one singular purpose. A cog does not weep when it grinds against another gear. It does not hesitate when the metal chips and sparks fly. It turns. It executes its function until the friction grinds it down to dust. So dry your eyes. Sever the fragile nerves connecting your heart to your mind. The enemy is still breathing. The target is in range. Stop feeling. Start moving. Exist only for the impact of the next strike.